Alright, I'm not sure if anyone wants to hear this, but I felt like I needed to tell this at least. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Jochem. I'm a musician, producer, and sound engineer. And today I want to talk about how my life changed in the past 2 years. So yeah, let's get started. I guess it started like 2 years ago, or a year and a half more accurately at this point. Back then I was working as an architectural engineer at an architecture firm. And for a longer period of time, I wasn't happy at all with my work. I tried to make the best of it in the sense that I tried to find like a niche where I would be more comfortable in, or something that I found important is the better way to go. And for me, that became environmentalism or sustainability, however you want to call it. Something that really goes to my heart. So it's like, yeah, I'm spending 40 hours a week doing this job. I think it's an important thing. Like I was working architecture predominantly in like housing projects, and since there's like a lot of shortages on that spectrum, I thought it was a good place to contribute to society, to make some impact in the challenges in this world. But at the same time, the construction industry as a whole is a very dirty industry. I believe like almost a third of all the emissions, all the CO2 and stuff like that, is caused by construction. And that goes from like the buildings themselves, but also like the sourcing of supplies or materials and transportation. And I think there is a lot of room to improve there. So I thought like, okay, I think this is important. This is my job. This is what I'm going to focus on. So my former employer really created a space where we could work out of those interests and fascinations. But the industry being like as conservative and unwilling to change as it is as a whole, it really created a environment where I put so much energy into that job, and it just didn't work out, because every time it was like, yeah, we get what you're saying, or we agree with you, but, and then nothing would change, and we would just keep building concrete colossus and pretending it's sustainable in a way because there's some solar panels on it, or there's a wooden door frame or something like that. So even though my former employer, I believe, really wanted to create a space where I could develop my vision, and in a way they shared my vision as well, nothing real was changing. And that for me led to a point where I just couldn't get out of bed anymore. And this was April of 2024. I had quite literally burned out. Couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't go to work. It was physically impossible. The first couple of weeks were rough. I was completely drained of energy. Any effort I made of doing anything resulted in having to take naps during the day. And especially on the days that I felt better and was like, that is some energy, I was like, okay, I feel good, I'm gonna do something. And I paid the price for that, because for every day I had where I was feeling good, I needed 2 days to recover. So that was rough. I do not recommend. And meanwhile, I had still shows planned with Dr. Peacock, while I was like in a very weird place, energy wise, but also mentally. I had to perform, and also because of like the doctor told me that I should take effort and keep doing things that gave me energy. I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna cancel those shows. I don't want to. I would hate to cancel a show. It gives me a lot of joy, and I thought I should not take that away, considering everything. But it also felt like really weird at the same time, because while I was being on stage and I was like performing and delivering my job, I was looking at the crowd enjoying themselves, like really feeling the music, and I just wasn't there. I mean, I was present physically, but mentally I was checked out. Like I could not enjoy it the same way I did like before, and it was very scary for me. But a couple of months later, I guess, I think it was either the end of May or beginning of June, I'm not completely sure anymore, I had my first gig like in a different country, so I had to fly to it. And for those of you who know, flying with musical equipment is never easy. It's very irregular luggage. The rules from airlines differ. It really depends on the person you meet at a counter or a check-in desk or whatever, how smoothly it's gonna go. So traveling is always a bit of a draining activity for me, and now even more so. So I was not particularly looking forward to it, but it all went well. I flew to the south of France for a show. It was, I believe, near Marseille. And when I got out of the transfer from the airport to the hotel, I had a few hours left. I was staying in a room with like a little kitchenette, so I could make my own dinner and didn't have to go to a busy restaurant or something, because I was not feeling like that either. And there was a supermarket like 10-minute walk from my hotel. So I went outside to get some food, and as soon as I got out, like all the weight of the world fell off my shoulder, and for the first time in months I felt like being able to breathe again. And that moment was when I realized that I should not go back to architecture. I should not go back to being unhappy with my job, because what was going to happen other than the same thing that happened before, right? So I didn't see a situation where I would get better and keep doing the job I did. So that meant I had to change, and I wanted to become the thing I enjoy most, and this a musician. I want to be working with music every day. And I want that to be my source of income, which was a very good realization. And in hindsight, I think one I should have had 15 years ago. But due to all kinds of circumstances, that didn't happen. And it's not useful to be anything but indifferent about what happened at that regard, because you're not going to change it anything. Anyway, but yeah, I knew that whatever I was going to do, I should not go back to being an architectural engineer. I needed a solution. I needed a new plan for my income, right? And I knew like going back to architecture was not an option anymore. So I ended things with my former employer. I'm really thankful for the way they approached it and the types of conversations we had about it. I think I could have wished for a more supportive environment. So a little shout out to my former colleagues and former employer for that. But at the same time, I realized that becoming a full-time session musician, which would be like an ideal situation for me, since I enjoy creating music, but also like performing music and sharing experiences with audiences. I realized that I did not have the type of connections in the music industry that would make it like into a smooth transition to that situation. So I needed something else. And at the same time, or a little before that, I went through a different kind of realization, and that was back in 2023. So we're moving back in time a bit. As some of you might know, I released my first solo EP, Madam Psychosis, in September of 2023. And it was the first time I actually produced a record without a band. So it was the first time that I did like most of the work myself. I had some help from friends in the sense of Sjoerd. He recorded bass guitar on the EP, and Sasha and Kim helped me with some piano and violins. And the mixing and mastering was done by Mendel Bedeley. But during the process of creating that EP, I realized that I had a lot to learn about producing music, because before that I was mostly a guitarist in several bands. I wrote tracks but never produced a record. I recorded guitars, of course, but I was just like a little cog in that system. And now it's like the machine that was running the whole thing. And I realized two things. One, I had a lot to learn. And two, I really enjoy doing it, even more so than I thought I would beforehand. So that gave me a new perspective when I was thinking about how to move forward out of the burnout. And in my mind, like a combination between being a session musician and performing live, whether it was with Dr. Peacock or with some other project or with a band of my own, I realized I could do that alongside being a producer for myself, but also for other musicians. So I was starting to do research about how to set up such a company, basically. And that led to a time where in the end of 2024, I think starting October, until January or February of 2025 of doing like a lot of research and writing business plans and financial projections and risk analysis and stuff like that. And that led to starting Poltergeist Productions, which officially launched in March of this year. So that became the plan. I was going to be a producer / mixing mastering engineer and a session musician. And that's what I'm doing now. I'm also gonna restart the recording because I'm afraid I'm gonna run out of time otherwise. And I'm back. Maybe you didn't even notice. So that brings me to the next. Basically, where do I stand now? Let me take a sip of coffee. I love coffee. I'm having a rough time with the autofocus, so maybe some parts are out of focus. I digress. It's November of 2025 when I'm filming this, so that means that I'm like 3/4 of a year into my first year as a full-time entrepreneur, if you will. And there's positive aspects and some negative ones. The positive part is that I'm feeling tons better than I did a year and a half ago. Even on my bad days, like energy-wise, I'm still like 100% better than on my good days when I was in the beginning of the burnout. And business-wise, things are getting better, but it's taking its time. For me, it's not very natural to approach potential clients or people to work with. I always feel a bit self-conscious about it, like I'm selling something they don't want. So it takes a bit of practice for me to find like the right way to approach people, to find collaborations, to find possible clients. So that's a learning curve for me. At the same time, I'm still learning a lot about producing and mixing and mastering, and I'm working on that every day, or I try to work on it every day, because some days are just full of other things that need to happen. Some days I feel like I don't progress at all, and other days I'm like forcing myself to really look at what I've been doing in the past couple of months to a year, and if I compare my skills and my experience now versus back then, it's like night and day. I don't really say this a lot about myself, but I'm proud of what I've accomplished during the time. And I'm proud of like the choices I made and the progress I've been making. It really shows me I've made a good choice, even though it's a hard one. At the same time, is so like the more negative aspects is that also financially it's taking its time to be enough to live by. So at this point, I have a part-time job next to it for the first time since I was in school, basically, which was not the plan, but it serves the purpose, and the purpose now is like to buy myself time to keep growing, to keep developing, and if it's necessary, it's necessary, right? And at the same time, which is something I really like, I've been doing more freelance work as a live audio engineer again. It's something I did like 15 years ago at a youth center on a voluntary basis, and now I got in contact with some old acquaintances of mine, and they were saying like, oh, if you want to do that, I work here and there, and they're looking for audio engineers like once or twice a month. So I've been doing that more and more, and I've been enjoying that. So even though it wasn't something I planned for or something I wrote in the business plans or anything, but it's how it's progressing, and I believe in a good turnout. It will be all right, but it just takes time. And the last part I want to talk about is actually the part I started this video about, because I wanted to share why I haven't been releasing music as much as I wanted to lately. For those of you who are not really listening to my own music, I released the EP in 2023, as I said before, and then I believe 4 singles in 2024 and 2 in 2025. I should check this. I should know this. Also, my screen is on the... It's still going. I should know this, right? Go to Cubase, search for myself. It's weird that I don't know this, right? See all. Yes, I released 2 this year, and 1, 2, 3, 4 last year. So 6 in total. Makes sense. And like with everything happening this year, like starting the company, being financially relying on that, especially now with like the part-time job next to it, it just eats away from my energy and also my mental capacity, because it's something that's on my mind like 24/7. From the moment I wake up to until the moment I go to bed, I'm thinking about, okay, I have this business, I need to make money with it, what I'm going to do, who am I going to approach, what am I going to post on social media, stuff like that. So it takes a lot of my mental capacity, and it leaves less for the creative side. It doesn't mean I haven't been writing anything. I've been writing some demos, and I have like some material that could be like an EP in the near future, but I'm not sure how at the moment, because at the same time I really feel the need to make like something that's part of a bigger picture. So just a collection of singles doesn't really feel like the type of music I want to bring out, but maybe I can sell it to myself as being a bundle of something. And at the same time, I'm working for a couple of years on and off now on a more like ambient, softer style of music, like more like soundscaping or acoustic or ambient guitar based music that might see the light of day as well in 2026, because I feel the idea crystallizing in my head, and once that happens, it's the hard part for me is over. I just have to produce it. And I've been working on and off on a new project that's meant to become a band with other musicians as well, because I really miss playing in a band and performing that way. But with everything going on, that's been shelved for now at least. But at some point that will work out again. It has to be. So yeah, that's basically the story I want to tell now. Maybe I should do like a little call to action as well. I'm very much open to session work as a guitarist. So if you are a producer or a band or a musician and you want a guitar solo on your project, or just need someone to record guitars, get in touch. Send me an email, send me a message on Instagram or whatever, and we'll figure out how we can work together, because I very much enjoy doing that. And I would love to make time for it as well. And also, if you wrote something like a single or an EP or an album and you need someone to mix or master it, I'm available at Poltergeist Productions. Check out the website. I'll link everything in the description. Also, if you just have questions about songwriting or producing or even mixing and mastering, whatever is your challenge at the moment, if you think I can help just talking about it, I'm always open to it. Always good to have conversations about it and share your experiences. So please don't hesitate to contact me. I guess that's it for today. This is probably way too long for many of you to watch, so if you stuck around to the end, thank you so much. This is also the place in the video. I should ask to like and subscribe, but if you want to, you do that, right? So no need in asking. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'll be in touch. I'll make no promises, because I know that's not the right way for me to do this thing. So I'll see you in the next video. Much love. Bye.